Hello! As you might already guess, today is the third day of my 1-month English speaking challenge. As I promised in my previous video, I am going to talk about procrastination today, its nature, and why one of the most efficient and beneficial techniques to fight it and to succeed actually is loitering around. So let's sort out first what procrastination is. And I will refer to information that I have heard recently, and that information was shared by Ася Kazantseva. She's a very famous neurobiologist and journalist. As well, she was mentioning some materials from the post of Tim Urban, American blogger. I cannot say if he is very famous, but he's famous in some circles, let's put it this way. So procrastination associates with the feeling when you have to do something important or urgent, but still you kind of experience or face some resistance with respect to this task or project or action, etc. I'm sorry, something is going on with my vocal cords. Fears that you will not be successful at this, or some concerns or uncertainty, or you're non-confident enough to commence this project, task, whatsoever. The other reason may be because this task is too boring, or it's not aligned with your life values, or something you consider useful in your life. In addition to that, it was observed that neurotic people who are constantly anxious, undecisive, uncertain, they deal with procrastination much more often than those who possess some self-composure. But not always procrastination can be explained by bad time management or laziness. In fact, procrastination is the result of our biological nature. To be more accurate, it's an outcome of our brain structure, because there are 3 parts in the brain that are somewhat contradictory. So if we refer to the post of Tim Urban, who said that let's imagine that our brain is a boat, for example, and there is one small character at the steering wheel of this boat, and let's call it a rational decision maker. And another character on that boat will be small instant gratification monkey, who constantly distracts this decision maker, rational decision maker, from steering the boat into the right direction. And what that instant gratification monkey cares about, it's only satisfaction or content from some activities, simple ones, like, I don't know, scrolling through your Instagram feed, or playing some silly game on your phone, or watching some Netflix series. So it's just mostly about having fun. On the other side of the rational decision maker is a panic monster, who shows up only when approaching to some deadlines, right, of that activity or task or errand that you have to perform. And at this point, when panic monster starts crying and yelling that oh my god, we're going to fail this task, the instant gratification monkey is also terrified, because now it's not something is not about having fun or doing some joyful things. It's actually about something else, something terrifying. And now the rational decision maker is facing the toughest time and toughest role, because it has only this much time, very, very short one, to come up with some solution, right, for this specific moment. This allegorical description of the situation confirms with neurobiology as a science, right, and with the nature of our brain. And as I mentioned, this is all about our 3 contradictory parts of our brain. So let me recall them properly, and I guess the first is called nucleus accumbens, which is that instant gratification monkey. It usually longs for a new dopamine dose, and it corresponds to different simple joys in our life. The other part in our brain is amygdala, and it represents our panic monster. It starts sending way more impulses in one unit at a time than the first one, than nucleus accumbens. And this way it overweighs the nucleus accumbens impulses. While the third part of our brain, it's I forget this first word of it all the time, so it's dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and this is our rational decision maker. So it gets the impulses from both parts, and based on the rate of those impulses, it decides what will be right or rational to do now. So when we understand this, we should just stop tormenting ourselves and just stop blaming yourself that it's only your fault, that you're not that person with a strong willpower, or you're not disciplined. Just think of your nature, right? The way the nature created you and created your brain. But if you analyze your situation throughout the time, throughout some continuous time, like a month, 6 months, a year, and you see that you are constantly dissatisfied because you constantly procrastinate, and every time you find this small nice distraction, you are happy to have it, but after several minutes or hours you feel so bad and you are angry at yourself, then you should think whether it's related to some certain specific activity or your job or your work, and if yes, then probably it's not the right thing for you. Maybe you just need to pull yourself together. I'm not sure if this is the right phrasal verb, but just think if you can afford to get rid of this and to give up on this job or on this relationship or on this side hustle project, and that will probably release more time and energy for you to find something else to proceed in your life, and in the long run it will be more useful and beneficial for you in this case. So yeah, this is one solution if you feel that you constantly procrastinate over the very continuous period of time. If it's not the case, then you should consider following techniques. The first one is just splitting one very complex task into small ones, so that the brain would not be so frightened about approaching this task. The second solution or technique is trying to turn things that are boring, tiresome, or complex into more pleasant one. And in this case, you can just buy some nice, beautiful notebook or lovely pen, or maybe even fountain pen, to feel more exquisite. In this case, if you, for example, have to write some essay for your university course, but I don't think that we write anything, we do any handwriting now, and mostly we just type on our computer keyboard, right? Or for example, if you have to prepare some heavy analytical report for your boss, then maybe you need to make a cup of coffee or a mug of fragrant cocoa with marshmallows on top of it. If you're postponing cleaning or dusting your house, then consider buying some more expensive nice cloth, or this funny and cute duster that we have here in the United States. So yeah, it's up to you how you will make those things more pleasant to you and less daunting. One of the pretty popular techniques now called Pomodoro technique. When you have some allocated time, like 15 minutes, and within that time, not less, not more, just 15 minutes, and as soon as your alarm says that, okay, 15 minutes are over, you just stop right there and you will get back to this later. Don't forget to reward yourself on completion of your task. If you're a person with developed external reference, which means that the opinion of other people really matters to you, then you might find in your social circle someone who you know in person, and ensure that that person will start respecting you if you finish this or that project, and that person will give you kudos at the end of it. It can also help you. Let's switch now to a penultimate technique that I learned from one of my favorite authors, Neil Gaiman, and it may apply to any kind of activities, but he just gave the advices to some new writers, beginners, as well as experienced ones, that if a writer wants to generate 3 or 4 chapters within one day, what he usually does, he goes to some place that it's not very attractive or pleasant to him, for example, to some hotel room that doesn't have any windows at all, and you cannot even understand what time of the day now, that doesn't have any cool TV channels there, and it can be any place where you don't want to linger for long. So you go there, or you, for example, are at home and you just turn off all the social media, notifications, phones, everything that may distract you, and you work on the task, understanding that the sooner you finish it, the sooner you will be free and you will just leave this place that you are not comfortable in. So the very last one, and probably the very pleasant and still one of the most effective, is very surprising one, just loafing or loitering around, which means that you got something to do and now you are intentionally, consciously planning some creative pause. You're not replacing that pending activity with anything else except just walking in the park or around your neighborhood, or sitting in the chair and looking out the window, or sitting on your couch and just having that activity in mind. That planned creative pause should not be longer than usually 1/3 of that allocated time that you have for the activity that you are procrastinating it with. And the researchers show that this pause results with very creative approaches to the task or project that you will have to deal with. So now, knowing the nature of procrastination and the explanation with the scientific facts, also you know some simple techniques to deal with it, maybe you will feel better next time when you have to do something that it's not considered very attractive to you. So again, I was not going to make this video alone, and to be honest, I forgot to bring my sunglass with me just to measure those 15 minutes where I had to squeeze this content of mine, but we have what we have. And now I will have to run because I don't want to procrastinate more with some chores of mine. Have a nice time wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.